Welcome to Tube Talk, where I'll be interviewing either virtually or in person content creators in the hope to learn more about the people that we subscribe to and we follow on YouTube. Welcome back to episode 2 of my chat with Reese and Sarah from While We're Young. In this episode, we learned about Reese's signature dish and a bit more about Sarah's teaching prowess, and we learned how Lila has become a sleeping weapon. So on your YouTube journey, have you come across creators that you've gravitated to yourself? So who are you, in no order. So if you were to rattle off 3 of your favorite content creators, who would they be? Right off the bat. And you know what? They don't have to be joint. So Reese, you can have your own 3. Sarah, you can have your own 3. So there's 6 happy days.
Yeah. Well, mine would be right off the bat. Who do I watch? I can probably Briggsy. I watch a lot of Briggsy. I don't know if you've seen him, Briggsy Sports Fishing. He was part of Morning Tide, but he basically does like rock sports fishing. He's got like a really good channel.
Yeah,
so probably Briggsy. Bo Miles. I love his stuff. He makes really good videos. Who else do I watch? Briggsy, Bo Miles. Back to basics. I watch a lot of Back to Basics.
Okay, cool. Okay, so that's your 3. That's your 3 done.
I reckon they're probably
they're your favourite 3. Anyway. Okay, cool. Well, if they're front of mind, they're clearly,
Yeah.
They're up there, yeah.
What about you, Sarah?
In all honesty, I don't watch as much YouTube as you might think for someone who does YouTube.
Well, you don't. He does. He does.
Reese does. So Reese is, and that's why Reese is the YouTube guru, because he watches heaps of YouTube.
I wouldn't say guru.
That's
why I look after you.
In a relationship with that, because he knows what works on YouTube. Like he will, he knows more what people are watching, and he does all like the titles with the SEO and all that stuff. I would have to say, a channel from ages ago that I found so relaxing to watch. It's random, but I really like watching things that like learning different things on YouTube. Like I use it more as a tool to learn things. And there was this one dude, I think his name was Mike Boyd, and he would be like, I'm going to learn how to do a muscle up, which is like a push up where you like pull up, you pull up and then push up, and like as a random skill. And he will just film himself over and over again and show the process of learning that skill or any random skill. So he was awesome. We watched a fair bit of Trip in a Van way back before they were, massive. They were pretty big then, but not as massive as they are now. That was sort of when we first started looking at traveling.
I think they've inspired a lot of people.
They have, yeah.
Absolutely.
And they've worked their butt off to get to where they are.
No argument.
All the other things that they've done as well. And then a lot of the other stuff that I watch is stuff that I watch with Reese.
Okay, so one more. Give me one more. We've got 3 Reese's favorites.
Maybe I can really appreciate the videography of like Jack and Megan. They're another travel content creating.
Yeah,
so Jack and Megan.
They're really good.
Okay, cool. I'll put them down on our episode on the bottom of our screen, so people can gravitate towards that. So since you guys, and I guess because you guys are 2 like separate gurus, so Reese, what's your steepest learning curve on your YouTube journal?
Oh, right.
And then what? Many. Okay, stop for a second. So Sarah, while Reese is thinking of this answer, what's your steepest, learning curve when it comes to Instagram or your blogs or your website?
So I think the very steepest would have to be, I don't know if you saw the video.
YouTube.
On YouTube we basically lost all our footage. So stupidly, we're filming all this footage. We're filming all this stuff and just putting it onto a hard drive. Like I'm hopeless with computers. I'm hopeless with all this. Yeah, get a second one, mate. I promise you won't regret it. But yeah, that was probably we put it all onto one hard drive. Obviously, didn't back it up onto anything, and it corrupted one day. It actually happened. I was at Coral Bay and I was sitting in the car editing, because often like trying to find reception or whatever, I'd be like sitting in the car with the laptop editing or whatever, and it just stopped working. It just corrupted, and we had like months and months of footage on there, like the Gibb River Road and everything. And at that point, we'd lost it all. And then, yeah, it ended up costing us an absolute bomb to send it away, and they sort of recovered maybe half of it. So they got about half of it back. But that was pretty heavy. We were like, holy, I was that close to, I've got,
Did you cry?
I'm not very good at dealing with situations like that. I was like, I'm done with YouTube, mate. I'm done. This is screw technology, computers, stuff it all.
So what have you done? So is now all your files like live in the cloud?
No. So we just bought numerous hard drives and we just back it up every couple of weeks. We just put it onto like the 2 hard drives. So if one ever fails, we've got all the files on the other one.
That's
A lot
that's
of people
really
do
good
use
advice.
cloud storage. We've just found with the file sizes, like when you're doing videography compared to like photography,
You just
the file size is massive too. The cost of having a cloud storage that has enough storage to deal with
Yeah.
that much content, like it's not something
Yeah.
that we're
We have like
willing to spend. at
we
the
have like
moment.
terabytes worth of video footage.
So your steepest learning curve is really
back this stuff up.
respecting backing his shit up.
Back
Number
this
one.
shit up.
What about you, Sarah?
Oh.
So Sarah, with your Instagram, is there a learning curve? Because as I've touched on already, and I didn't read all your blogs. I read enough to get a flavour.
Yeah.
Your stuff's good, but
Yeah.
Sarah, your
No,
stuff.
Sarah's a weapon. Sarah's a weapon.
Sarah, your stuff is next level. No, and you
Oh.
should. So what's your
I'm not
what's
sure
your
that
steepest
many
learning
people
curve?
actually read it, to be honest, but that's okay.
But I'm
I
sure it's
enjoy doing
cathartic.
it. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I guess for me,
They should. They should go and read it because your stuff is really, really. You clearly, and we're going to touch on this we're going to touch this in a couple of minutes. You must be an English teacher.
I'm not. Never would
Right.
be. Never could be.
We're gonna jump off this video chat with heads like this big.
All right, so I digress, which is one of my
I think probably building
Yeah,
a
simple.
website. That was
You
a
build that.
massive learning. Yeah, like obviously I didn't code it, I didn't type it out, but WordPress, websites, you can build it with like blocks. You sort of like put bits together. So that was a huge learning curve, but it was really, I feel like it's a skill that I can apply to other things too, which is awesome.
It's pretty satisfying.
Yeah, super satisfying.
yeah. Well, you
That
know,
and also, I think Instagram is interesting too, because when we first started our journey, we sort of said to ourselves, if we're going to make this like a public sort of sharing of what we're doing, we wanted to make sure that it was like authentic to us and not like that, Instagram version of, like, we try and share the bad with the good. And I think Instagram's algorithm seems to favor like repeating content that's been done before, like, use trending audio. So everyone's using the same audio because it gets pushed out better. So I think that has been a challenge for us, trying to keep it authentic, but also leverage on like Instagram wanting you to use the same music and like follow the same formats. And so that's been an interesting journey too, of trying to like balance.
It's same with it's the same a bit with YouTube. Like, there's you sort of really want to just show yourself, but in order to like, I guess, not be successful, but have your content being pushed out and whatever, like be favorable to these companies more or less. You sort of do have to kind of follow a little bit along with the herd of what everyone is doing, because otherwise your videos sort of just fade off and your Instagram posts just sort of fade off into the mist and don't really get picked up.
So we'll touch on that down the track. So and so like I said, there's so much. You guys are so fascinating and interesting to listen to, and your journey is amazing. I'm only 2/3 the way in, so please stay pat with me. I'm almost there. So we've talked about your learning curves, and we've touched on your expertise. So Sarah, you're a teacher,
I
right?
am.
So what you just told us now is that you're not an English teacher, and I would have pegged you for an English teacher every day of the week,
Really?
based
Wow.
based on what I read. And you know what? And I'm glad my wife's over my shoulder. English is my weak point. My ability to crunch numbers on the back of an envelope is pretty good. But when it comes to spelling, I'm terrible, and my grammar is terrible. Anyway, so
Yeah.
what type of teacher is Sarah? And again, did I read you've got a degree in, what's your degree in teaching? And excuse my ignorance here, but you're quite a highly educated teacher. You're not just a primary school teacher.
Oh, yeah. Primary school teachers aren't like primary school teaching is also like highly specialized.
Absolutely, but I
But
think
I'm
you've
a high
got
school teacher.
you what?
So I'm a high school teacher. I did a Bachelor of Science as my undergraduate degree,
Okay, that's
and
what I
then
read.
I did
Okay,
a
so you got a
Masters
bachelor's.
of Teaching. So I'm a science teacher.
Okay, so you're so hang on, give me a bit of credit. You're more than just a primary school teacher. You're a science
She's
teacher.
pretty clued up. Yeah.
You're pretty clued up. Okay.
Definitely clued up.
I know a little bit about lots
And
of
she's
things.
modest.
I know a little bit about lots of
No
things,
shit,
but I
Sherlock.
don't know. I don't know a lot of detail about anything. I know a little bit about lots of things.
Okay. Okay. So
Which
so
I
you
think as a science teacher, it's difficult you can't really focus in on one area because the curriculum is like science is everything. Anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm a general knowledge science teacher.
my glass of wine's empty. So I mean, I'm sure talking about science could take you down all sorts of rabbit ones. So Reece, you're a
Yeah.
plumber. So I touched on. So Reece, I've actually got a bit of a soft spot for the plumbing industry, and if you're interested, I'll tell you quickly. But if not,
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So there's commercial plumbers, there's housing plumbers, there's maintenance
Yeah.
plumbers. What
Yeah.
sort of plumber is Reece?
Well,
Gas plumbers?
So I'm commercial construction.
Commercial,
So,
okay.
yeah, before I left, which actually this kind of spurred on a bit too, because I think I burnt myself out a little bit, but I was actually a site foreman for a construction company in Newcastle. So I had a little crew and we were sort of just doing sort of small construction projects,
Okay, yeah.
high schools and stuff like that, which was good. Yeah. So, yeah, more or less, I guess, commercial construction, but I've done a
Okay.
bit of everything. I've done
Okay.
residential, I've done maintenance, I've sort of done a bit of everything.
Where do you lean to? Like, is there a preference?
Yeah, I like commercial construction. That's
Yeah,
sort of
okay.
why I sort of moved into that. Yeah, I sort of like, the whole planning and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. But I was sort of towards the end there, I was kind of a bit off the tools a little bit. I was
Yeah.
more or less managing a bit more.
Managing people,
Yeah, which was tough.
tough. Hardest thing you'll ever
It was-
do, right?
Mate, it was tough.
Managing people and managing students, I'm sure, is the same. It's like
Yeah.
that's the hardest thing you ever do. So Sarah, you mentioned that you're teaching are you teaching in Exmouth?
I am, yeah.
And Reece, your daddy daycare at home.
I am,
So
which is
so
interesting.
well, so again, I don't know. I interviewed you guys follow them actually, Elnick. So
Yeah,
they're
great.
awesome. That's
They're
another,
awesome.
as a
Yeah.
family, we do watch the family though.
Yeah, we love those guys. They're interesting. He goes, he'd much rather be building than looking after the kids. I'm sure you'd much
Right.
rather plumbing than looking after. No, I'm sure that's not the case. You don't say that, right? Because
Yeah,
people come
look,
down and so.
It's hard work. It's
so you got
definitely
no-
hard work.
So have you got any intentions of going on the tools in Exmouth, or this is the way you
I
guys
ha-
are just?
It depends. So we're trying to. Originally, I did some plumbing up in Broome and stuff, and I actually talked to some plumbers here, and they've got plenty of work. But the trouble we're having is we can't get any daycare or anything. So the there's nowhere to put Lila.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't really take her plumbing, and Sarah's full time, so
Says who?
sort of don't really have the opportunity at the moment.
Maybe you could just whack Lila on a babysit carrier and duct tape and hockey straps and
Hey, potentially, if we
While
get
she's
that
sleeping.
hard up for a coin, I might have to do that.
so how long do you guys intend to be on the road? How long do you guys like? Do you have like a? I'm sure you've had this question asked.
We're
Huh?
getting back to the East Coast later this year.
Yeah.
And then I guess we're sort of reassessing and seeing what we're going to do next.
Yeah,
We don't have any plan to stop doing YouTube.
yeah,
We're just we're kind of going with the flow a little bit in terms of
yeah.
seeing what opportunities come up and yeah.
I think we've kind of realised that there's sort of, I guess you can sort of live a bit of a different lifestyle where you sort of work for a bit and try like, yeah. I think being on the road has changed our mindset a little bit about just like flat out working.
About life, right?
Yeah.
Fully. Yeah,
No, you try being
Which-
58.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, 100. Easy, Tiger. So, no, look, I say that tongue in cheek because and I go back to the people that I interviewed a couple of weeks ago. Vic and Dave, and it's one thing traveling when you're young because while we're young, but then when you sort of hit that last trimester of your life, there's a lot more to life than belting the shit out of each other, to pay a mortgage and to have enough money in superannuation to eventually pegging out. So no, I get it. I really get it. So just going back to Lila. Is it Lila? Have I got the description of it, Lila?
Yeah.
So we feel really privileged when we met you guys. I'm going to say July last year. We've actually seen your beautiful daughter grow up.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the month we saw her walk, but we have seen her flourish as a child, and it's a beautiful thing, right? So
Yeah.
So a couple of questions is, and this is, I guess, not just myself, but also my wife. We're curious to know,
Yeah.
how old is she now? 2.5?
19 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's
almost,
2.
almost 20 months. Yeah.
How is the sleeping pattern, rolling out in a caravan and the adaptation of on the road and all that sort of stuff? And I don't know whether it's a Reese question because you're daddy daycare now, or it's a Sarah question. So I'll put it to both you guys. Share with us.
Yeah, look, it's honestly amazing now. She's
Great now.
she's an absolute weapon.
Can you see how fresh we look?
Yeah. I mean, 2 months ago, you guys look so fresh. So
Yeah, look,
it's almost like that, right?
we were proper struggling there for a while.
Yeah.
There was chats of pulling the pin, going home, like it was
Fair
full on.
income.
Yeah, look, we were
Wow.
There were a few stats like that.
there was a few months there where we were lucky to
Sleep
get
device. The sleep zone.
2 or 3 hours sleep.
Yeah.
It's incredible how sleep can impact on
Everything,
everything.
mental health.
Yeah, like your whole
Stress.
perspective,
It's a
everything.
thing.
It's just your whole life's got a cloud over it.
Mm.
Even like we were still doing amazing things, like
Yeah,
hiking through gorges and
Well,
exploring
we're just
beaches
rattled,
and
yeah.
but you
Yeah.
just when you're that burnt out it can get tiring and I think that was around the time where our funds were our travel like full-time
Right.
travel funds were like
Slush fund.
Love.
running out,
Yeah,
so we were sort of in the transition from like traveling to like working and traveling at the same time, so that was definitely probably the trickiest time.
yeah. And I think like for us, like Lila's our first kid, so I think as new parents, you're sort of constantly second guessing.
She's
yourself.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
She is, but it's
Apple of Dad's eyeball, clearly. She's
What's
got
that?
you. She has got you eating out of her hand. Just saying.
yeah,
From a-
absolutely.
So I've got 3
I run
daughters,
around
mate.
like a headless chook after.
Yeah. All right. So Lila's actually adapted to living on the road. Her sleeping patterns now in a really good groove. You guys are human again.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
talk to each other. There's no cloud, but that's so cool to
No,
hear.
yeah, really good.
Yeah,
I think the biggest thing, if people are watching and they're in a similar situation, the biggest thing was sleep training.
Yeah.
That was where it changed.
Yeah, so we got online and like did some research and did some like sleep training.
And I stopped breastfeeding at the same time, which I think it was like a number of factors sort of all at once that helped.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
she's been awesome since then, which
Yeah.
has been good. That would have been, I don't know,
months ago
November,
now, yeah.
maybe November.
Oh,
last year
okay.
or something.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So you guys, so okay. So I would have thought a couple of months ago, but there might be a lag. So,
Yeah, our videos are usually a few weeks behind. So,
A few months ago.
yeah.
so Sarah, very quietly, I've forgotten the right terminology. My wife can't hear me. So on the weekend, we watched you growing some funny thing for your yeast, your bread.
Sourdough culture. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that going?
Well, it was going good, but I've
She let
actually
it go by the
stopped.
wayside.
Yeah, I've actually stopped it.
It's
It
all
is
over.
awesome. It is over for now. I might get back into it. I just coming into working and stuff, I was like, oh,
Why couldn't Reese pick up the? Why couldn't you pick up
he's
the
not a
slack?
baker.
Mate.
He's a great cook, but he's no baker.
Oh,
I'm a baker.
we're gonna get to the cook in a minute.
Yeah.
He's a plumber. He's
I'm
not a
no
baker.
baker, mate.
Oh, I love it. I love
But
it.
it was really good for a few months. We did it. It was awesome.
It was
We were more remote to be able to have
Yeah.
fresh bread. But now we can just go down the shops and get bread. So I'm not as
But
motivated.
You guys seem to eat very healthy. Is that tough on the road?
I don't know if we eat that.
Not really.
Well,
Well,
maybe,
we eat a lot of, yeah, I guess
Maybe-
like we try and eat a lot of fish and that sort of stuff.
you're
But
catching it,
mainly
fella.
I just eat cheaply, to be honest.
You eat cheaply. You're tight-fisted.
That's our main focus.
Okay. All right. Well, you seem you portray an image that you actually eat quite healthy, and we follow we follow probably, it's actually grown a bit. We used to follow about 20. So we subscribe to about 20 people, and I think we're probably over the 20 now because we get so addicted to the journey because we're 2.5 years out before we do it, and we follow some people and their eating habits aren't so healthy. So you guys seem to have a yeah. We'll just go sort of curious. So who is the cook out of you two? Who's
Yeah, I'm the cook.
Definitely.
you're the
I
cook?
do much of the cooking. I've turned into a real housewife, haven't
Yeah. He's a great
Yeah.
housewife.
I? Yeah. So I do our cooking,
What's your signature dish, brother?
cleaning.
The ironing.
Hey.
What's your signature dish?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Do you have a signature dish?
Oh.
I reckon laksa at the moment. You've been.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of laksas, prawn and fish laksa.
Oh,
Been doing
no.
a lot of-
Have you guys been to Malaysia?
No,
No.
not yet.
Okay. Okay. So just put that on your bucket list. One of
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the best laksa I've ever had was in Malaysia. So you okay? So
Oh.
laksa is your current go-to dish. Okay. Interesting.
It is.
Mm.
Yeah.
Alright.
I've been doing that a lot.
Mm.
I guess like it gets a bit fish. Yeah, try and mix up the fish dishes as much as we can. Fish curries, and it gets a bit old just eating fried fish, sort of
Yeah.
ongoing.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm almost finished. I'm sort of I just love your guys' vibe. You're just so cool. So thank you. So whoops, sorry.
Hey, don't
Look.
stress, mate. We're not in any rush.
All right, so cool. So I might have to go get myself another glass of red wine. Who won the footy?
Good.
Who won the footy tonight? Did Carlton beat Geelong? Do you know? You guys follow AFL?
I
Thing.
don't follow AFL.
All right.
No, we are. I grew up
Okay,
playing rugby.
we'll cut that out.
Yeah.
So going back to your social media skills, and okay, so we've got the YouTube guru to your left, Sarah, and the Instagram and website guru on the right hand side of Reese. So tell me, what does 12 months look like? What does 2 years look like? Where do you see your channel? Have you guys embraced this thing now, social media juggernaut? Like in 5 years, is it going to be a thing, or are you sort of just are you playing it day by day, or do you have a short, medium, and
Honestly,
long-term
no.
objective?
We're the most probably unplanned people in the universe.
I love it.
We kind of don't
We
really.
come up with plans and then they change.
Yeah,
We're kind of going with the flow a little bit.
we're
We-
pretty erratic.
Yeah.
So we don't
But no
know.
plans.
We
what
have we
to be
have
honest.
put in a lot of work into it. So
I'd
You
love
have.
to
we
keep.
don't we don't
You
have
guys
any
have.
intention of letting it fall apart because it's been a labor of love.
It's a lot of work. Yeah,
And you got
Um,
3,000 subscribers.
yeah.
And you've got, and
we
look,
do. We just clicked over. Start. Hey.
so you got, yeah, I did notice that. So you've got over 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. And please excuse me, I haven't got the number for Instagram. How many you got on Instagram?
Not many. I don't know.
I think like
2,000 something.
Something.
So,
Yeah.
and I
So
think
they're both very like in their pool of YouTubers and Instagrammers. We're like a speck.
Not sure what even call us a
Yeah.
YouTuber at the moment. We're just like
content creators, mate.
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
yeah
So I think
yeah.
the
Look,
way,
we're very much learning still.
yeah, no, look, I get it. And I'm the same, and we're the same.
Yeah.
You know, I interviewed a guy called Wacker, Western Australian Camping Adventure.
Yeah, I
But-
love him. He's a great one.
He's a weapon. He's an A grader, right? So and
Yeah.
he's an A grader with 20,000.
Yeah,
Right.
he's a veteran.
Well, yeah, and on the off chance, have you guys watched that interview?
Yeah, we did.
We have.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
cool. Okay, so Pete, and I, we ended up chatting for an hour after that, and
Yeah.
he's the most interesting dude. He really
Yeah.
is. And when I sort of spoke to him about being within the community, it's fair dinkum. Like you know, Harry from Fire to Fork and all those sort of crew, they've got
Yeah.
huge numbers. They're all part of that scene, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so again, as I warned you guys, I'll go down that rabbit hole and I apologize for doing that. So you guys what you guys have agreed on is that you've got no intentions of letting what you've created fall off a cliff, but you also don't,
No.
want to hold like a stake to the chin going, we must keep going and keep growing and
Not at all. No,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
See,
Yeah,
I don't, yeah. I guess like we like doing it and that for now. Like it's good.
Yeah.
It's great.
it's a hobby, right?
It's awesome connecting with,
Yeah.
you know, we have so many people send us like the nicest messages
Mm.
ever.
Yeah. It's cool, isn't it?
And-
I don't
yeah,
get
yeah, we really, really do enjoy it.
Yeah. I don't get
Oh.
many because I've only got 70, but I'm only sort of 7, 8 months into my journey. But
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, mate, it's a slow burn. It's a
Yeah.
slow burn.
Yeah.
We
look,
sort of
you-
found that like we sort of like slowly it was really slow for ages and then all of a sudden we started getting a little bit of traction and it's sort of I don't know, it's so hard to
Mm.
I don't know how it all works, but we seem to be getting a few people
I
subscribing.
think stay true to who you are.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a whole I listen to a whole heap of podcasts, and that's a whole other story for like I said when we catch up. I'm going to be next now in May, and if you guys are bang up for a cold beer, love to catch up with you guys
Absolutely,
socially.
mate.
Yeah, for
I'll hold you to that actually.
sure.
Looking forward to seeing this photo of yours as well.
Man, I've got some good GPS marks today, just quietly. I put them into my
Amazing.
Navionics. Yeah.
Amazing.
So we'll finish off with a bit of a pop quiz. So 5 random questions. 5 random questions.
Yeah.
You can answer them as a couple, or you can answer them individually. So okay,
Right.
first one is your favorite comedian. Who's your favorite comedian?
Ooh, Carl Barron.
Oh,
Mine's
yeah.
probably Carl Barron as
Oh,
well.
I love
like
Carl
Carl.
Barron.
He's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we all know I love Carl Barron. Favorite singer or artist from the 90s?
In the 90s.
I don't know when.
I don't know when
artists
singers
were
Easy,
were.
around.
easy, Tiger. Jimmy Barnes, Cold Chisel Days. No? Okay.
I like a lot of older
Oh.
music inspired
Yeah.
by my dad.
I
like
listen
Led
to-
Zeppelin.
Okay.
I think
Here's-
it's a bit before that, aren't they?
Here's an easier one for you. What's your favorite ABBA song?
ABBA.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Not a major fan.
I'm not a major fan of ABBA. Hey, I really
I thought
like
that was going to be
the
an easy
Eagles.
one. Eagles. Okay, awesome. Tick. What's your favorite Eagles song?
Oh,
Hotel California.
Yes, yes.
yeah,
We-
I reckon, yeah.
We feel blessed to actually have seen one of the Eagles' last concerts here in Perth. It was just
Oh,
absolutely
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Random question. Okay. Where do you have your sauce? In the fridge or the cupboard?
cupboard,
Depends.
cupboard usually because
Depends if the
we
fridge
don't
is
have
full.
we don't
Yeah,
have much we don't have much fridge
Okay.
space
So, if
in
you,
the old-
so you're in this nice little chalet, in this luxury chateau where you are right now. You got a choice.
Yeah.
There's a cupboard. You live in the cupboard, fridge. Sarah, yours is the fridge. Reese.
Uh mate, honestly, I just chuck it. I sometimes go from fridge.
So, Reese, you're telling me it's in Chateau Exmouth. You've got a bottle
Yeah.
of tomato sauce. You walk up, the fridge is on the right hand side, and the cupboard is on the left hand
Yeah.
side. You go, oh, you don't know what to do. Which way do you go?
No, mate, I honestly just I don't even think about it, just chuck it in either or, to be honest.
All right,
I
Okay.
couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you where it was right now, put it that way.
It's in the
all
fridge.
right,
Is it?
Yeah.
In the fridge.
Okay,
Right,
so-
it's in the fridge at the moment, so
okay. You're at Bob's Bar, of Coral Bay. What's your favourite pub meal?
mine would have to be a palmy.
Palmy,
I get a palmy every pub we
typical
go to.
plumber. Typical plumber. Yours,
Yeah.
Sarah.
And I always say I'm going to get something different too. and
You always
then I
going to
get
say,
a palmy.
I'll have something healthy. Give me the grilled
Yeah.
barramundi. Nah, the palmy
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
out. Sarah.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
If I'm feeling fancy, surf and turf. If not, a smitty with mushroom sauce.
Nice, nice.
Mm.
Okay, last question. Last question before that one. If you guys could invite anybody from around the world to a barbecue at your place, who would it be? Reese, who would you invite to a barbecue? And anybody, who would it be?
Jeez.
But-
I don't know.
So Sarah, while he's thinking, does anyone spring to mind for you? And I can flick back to you, Reese. It can be a politician, it can be a sportsman, it can be a movie star.
I can't think.
Okay,
Oh,
I
wow.
can actually. So
I
what
mean,
we-
I'd love to.
go.
I'd love to sit down with Bo Miles. I reckon he's a legend.
Then there it is, Bo Miles. You would love to have
Mm.
you would love to invite Bo Miles to your place for a barbie. Happy days. And
Yeah.
we will have
But
Bo
I mean, there's
Miles.
lots of people like even Fisher, probably Fisher.
Who's
I think
Fisher?
he'd be a cracker.
Who's Fisher?
He's a pro surfer turned musician.
Okay.
He's a
Okay,
loose unit.
Okay.
He's a loose unit, but he'd be a lot of fun, I reckon.
All right. So Bo Miles and or Fisher. Sarah? Male,
Oh,
female, movie
Yeah,
star,
it's a-
singer.
Yeah.
politician.
Oh, I don't know. That's a hard one.
All right. We'll come back to that. So I just want to ask Reese a couple of questions about surfing while you're thinking about who you'd like to have for barbecue.
Okay.
So Reese, did you do any surfing on the southwest of Western Australia? In Margaret River, Yellingup, Dunsbury area?
No, it was terrible when I was down there.
You what?
It was
Terrible?
all, yeah, we had shock and winds basically the whole time I was in the southwest.
What about and what about up at Exmouth? Have you surfed much up there yet? Yardie Creek and stuff?
No, I went and had a look. I went and had a look 2 days ago, over at June Beach.
Yep.
And there was no swell, but it looks really, really good. So
Okay.
I'm hoping that we can get some swell there.
Yeah. Okay.
'Cause I'd love to get some waves there.
Yeah.
But
Did
it's
you
been, I find WA's been very hit and miss surfing wise.
Yeah. It depends on
very
time of
hard.
the year. Yeah. No, it depends. It's really it's really month depending or period depending.
Yeah, it's definitely
So-
not the East Coast. We've got it easy. You can sort of,
Nah.
there's just
100%.
waves everywhere, and it's not, it's not hard to get to. I've actually, to tell you the truth, I find it a bit spooky surfing over here too. Like
Did you surf in South
No.
Australia at all? On the way
no, I
across?
was
Okay.
too scared.
That's
I
spooky.
couldn't, yeah, I mean, any waves that we found, there was just no one in the water and just like, I don't know, it just spooked me. Don't
I
know what
watched
it
it-
was about.
I watched a clip, a very, very quick clip this afternoon by some guy, Streaky Bay, and he was talking about all the crew that were rocking up there now that Streaky Bay become the place, for people to gravitate to go surfing in South Australia. You've got the island, squirrels, you've got granites, some amazing surf spots there. And, just talking about spooky places, there's a left-hander just out of Streaky Bay called Granites. And if a mate of mine's watching this, we surfed out there one day and we paddled out in this channel, and you're talking in between, and they call it Granites for a reason. So you're paddling out this little channel called Granites, and you jump in like a half meter of water, and all of a sudden you're 5 meters deep.
Yeah.
And then you paddle around the headland about 100 meters later, and not far off, this is where they actually shot some of the Jaws movie. Apparently, the word goes, and mate, it goes down to an abyss. So I get the spooky feeling, but WA is nowhere near as sharky as SA.
No. And I've found like even just fishing today, there was a few little sharks about, but it's more just the big Noahs down south. Like they got big. You run into a shark down there, and
it's all over.
Probably don't have a second chance down there. So
WA
hasn't been that bad. It's been good.
Yeah. So Sarah, while we're waffling with Reece about,
no, I've got a definite. Definite. My definite is David Attenborough.
Wow, fascinating. Typical.
He would be so
What a surprise! What a surprise coming from the science.
David Attenborough, Fisher.
Chalk and cheese, guys. Love the last hour together. What I might actually do is actually split this in half and do a couple of sessions, because we covered so much ground. Thanks for joining me at Tube Talk. Have a good afternoon or evening, and bye for now.
Thank you, mate.
Paul. See you, mate.
Okay.
Hope you enjoyed getting to know Reece, Sarah and Lila as much as we have, and get to know more about how a young couple travel around Australia. Thank you. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell. We're for now.